All right, we'll call to order the Lebanon Utility Service Board meeting for May 6th, 2026. Just let our minutes reflect that this meeting was properly advertised. Our first agenda item will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
All right, as is our custom, we'd like to open the floor to anyone for public comment. We will do this now, and we will also do this at the end of the meeting. Anyone? All right. Next agenda item, approval of minutes for April 22nd, 2026. Any questions, any thoughts related to our minutes? If not, I'll hear a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes for April the 22nd, 2026.
Second.
Any other discussion? Had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? All right, next agenda item, pension contribution for 2026. Sandra.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here today to discuss the funding for the defined benefit pension plan. And just a reminder for everyone, we actually froze this plan back in December of 2017. So there's been no new participants since then, and I think currently we have about 21 employees that are still on that defined benefit plan. So in late February, we received our actuarial valuation report, and it shows a minimum required annual contribution of $379,781 for 2026. That is up slightly from $372,835 in 2025. So the actuarial report has been shared with the Personnel Committee. I think everyone's comfortable. So today we are asking for a 2026 minimum contribution of $379,781.
Questions?
So I have some questions about whether I was reading the report correctly or not. I noticed that our funded ratio is, as of January 1, 2026, was 84.7%. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Evidently, we have an unfunded accrued liability of a little over $2 million.
Correct.
So this contribution we're making is expected to eat away at that over the coming few years to where we're hopefully get fully funded at some point, correct?
Correct.
I have back in my mind that a reasonable target for funding ratio is 70% for public entities. Is that something I just invented, or?
I can't answer that. I mean, I hate to do it. Tim probably worked a lot closer with pensions than I did. Normally, ours is in about the 80% range, somewhere around there, but we've always been told that ours is a very good percentage.
I think the way to describe that, Aaron, is we for many, many years, once the plan closed, we were putting the recommended amount in, which was above this number we gave. And when we went and said, we're going to go with the recommendation of the dollar, not the additional to be added, we were funded a little over 90%. Some of the remnants of COVID hit after that brought us back down, but we're working our way back up. Personally, I'm most comfortable somewhere close to 90%. And I think this keeps us within the striking range of that, because we just don't know how our investments are going to do year to year.
Right. You mentioned investments. I noticed that in 2025, if I read the report correctly, we had a 4.74% return, and the projections included in the report assumed a hope for 6% return. So last year, our return on investment was less than hoped for. Did I see that correctly?
No, I think that's correct. And that's part of the reason why our unfunded liability did go up about $20,000. So it went from $2,098 or $2,098,786 to $2,078,397.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Questions? Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we move to approve the Lebanon Utilities to fund the plan at a minimum of $379,781 for 2026 to be allocated appropriately between all utilities.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other conversation? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Next agenda item, conduit and equipment installation for Hickory Junction Phase 2.
Hello, everyone. So today I'm here to ask the board's permission to pay Barriott to provide the backbone infrastructure for Hickory Junction Phase 2. This was a quote that we got more than 6 months ago. We finally received the payment from them for this. We have called Barriott and we have a meeting set up there later this week. They are going to honor their price even though it's past their 90-day window, which we are grateful for, so we didn't have to send that back out. They were the only ones to bid on this project too 6 months ago. I don't know if you saw that. The total cost for the installation was $185,896, which again has been paid for by the developer already. So we're just asking the board's permission for us to pay them to do it.
Questions? I have Sandra, can you confirm the payment from Cardin Associates, the total, because this is just the first step in the build out of the electric out there? 516.
Yeah, we did receive full payment for that. I don't have the exact dollar amount in front of me, but it was $473,000, I believe. And then they also paid 10% of the availability fees
On the wastewater side.
on the wastewater, yes. So they paid 100% of the electric and then they paid 10% of the wastewater.
Okay. So David, once Barriott gets all the underground installed, then how much longer after that before they need service available?
So I have not seen any final plans for any construction yet. There's been preliminary talks. We've met with some contractors, some businesses wanting to develop there, but no final plans yet. And then on a side note, they are one of the reasons why I believe we were able to get the funding is because they're working on another project for NDOT to move. They got to move our poles, and so we basically said you have to pay for that too. So that was good for us to get that going for them.
Thank you. Other questions? Motion?
I move to approve the Barriott IT for the installation of primary electric in Hickory Junction Phase 2 for the not to exceed amount of $185,896.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. I don't believe there are any other questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, keep moving along. Wow, David, okay, go ahead. Vehicle replacement.
So this one's a new one. This is actually administration vehicle. Sandra had asked me to do the research and find a vehicle that was appropriate for them to use. Currently, we have a 2006 Ford Escape that's been with us for a long time. It has started to show some wear and tear. The transmission specifically is going out, and all the mechanics basically told us just to replace the entire car. So we got some quotes. The Chevy Equinox from Leo Chevrolet was the cheapest at $30,118.22. That is with a $1,500 trade-in for our current vehicle. All the other vehicles were really close in price. Leo Chevy did work with us the most on the trade-in value. So that's what brought their cost down a little bit more than the other. So today I'm asking the board to approve the surplus vehicle for Indiana Code 52222 as a trade-in, and the purchase of a new vehicle, the 2026 Chevy Equinox, in the amount of $30,118.22.
Questions? Pretty simple. We'll have two motions. Let's do them separately as we go. So the first motion for the declaration of the surplus.
Move to approve the declaration of the 2006 Ford Escape as surplus in accordance with IC 5-22-22 and allow the value to be applied as trade-in of $1,500.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Second motion.
Move to approve the purchase of a 2026 Chevrolet Equinox to replace vehicle number 14 from Leo Chevrolet Lebanon for amount not to exceed $30,118.22.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motions carry. One more time, David.
Perfect. So when I took this role on as acting electric operations manager, we've found we had some faults, and one of our faults is we have no security monitoring or cameras at our substations. As you know, our substations are one of a vital asset to keeping the electricity on, and that's something that we should have tackled probably sooner, but now we're here asking the board to approve A&D Alarm or LALAs to install some cameras at all of our substations. We already have their system that we've purchased, so we will not need any software. It'll integrate currently with ours. It's just installation of cameras and some monitoring equipment. The amount for all of the substations is $16,180. And that does include installation and the equipment. So today, I'm just asking the board to approve that purchase.
Questions from the board?
Are you going to have, is this going to be transmitted to a central location for the cameras and the alarm, or what?
So all of our cameras are accessible, like we can see them on our phones. We can also see them at the electric operations building.
Yep.
They will be tied to our network. So the same thing that sends us SCADA alarms. So the alarm when the substation trips or when we have faults on the substation, they're going to be on the same switch as that. So they are going to be able to send us data even if the sub is out of power.
That's great. Good to hear.
Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the Laos Inc. A&D Alarm to install camera equipment at all of our substations and the not to exceed amount of $16,180 and have general manager sign all documents.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, David, we'll dump it all on Sam now.
Okay.
Electric projects and safety update. This is just an information item for our agenda today.
Thank you. So let me get hooked up here.
Hey, while Sam's getting connected, I just want to recognize we have a number of staff here to see his presentation, including our two newest foremen. So thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah, they're a little camera shy, so we're not going to have them come out and stand in front of anybody. But they were a part of the crew that got the outage back together this week too. So kind of tip of the cap to them as well. Again, I'm Sam Messenger. I've been here a month now, so as the electric project manager and safety coordinator for the utilities. So again, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to kind of get you up to date on what's going on over in the electric side this past month. This has all just been since I've been here. So we'll go ahead and without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. Here's our team. The electric operations group is split into essentially 4 different teams, well, 3 different teams. So we have our 2 line crews. Again, Evan Colley, a line foreman, is here. Matt Myhill, the newest line foreman, is here as well. We also have the metering department led by David, who's also the acting operations manager. and I'm not going to read everybody's name that's on the list, but we do have a great team here behind us, and having the ability to have all of these guys and work together, it really makes part of the reason why I wanted to come back and work here. It's a great team to be a part of, and I'm thankful for the opportunity again to come back here and work with these guys. Let's go ahead and get into our electric project updates. So we finished transferring everything on Noble Street to the new poles, and so you may still drive by and see a couple of those ugly poles out there, but I'm pretty sure we got all of those out as well. So this is a couple pictures, and basically all you're going to see today are pictures, and I'll talk over them. But our guys did a great job of transferring everything over, and this is one of our apprentices being able to do that and get some bucket time to get up and do some things up in the air. Over at the Chicago Street Water Plant, we had to reroute an electrical line over top. You can kind of see the guys working as well. It's kind of difficult there. We had some things to maneuver around, but like I said, the guys communicate well, and the foreman run a great ship. So we were able to do that. Over on Ryan Street, there's some houses being built, so we had to set a couple new poles and move some things over. We also had, you can see the white X right there on the far right picture. So that was part of our Osmos came out and marked some poles that were some trouble poles for us. So that was one of our trouble poles that we needed to replace. And as a part of that, we're also kind of getting ready for those 3 houses that are going to be on Ryan Street there.
Is this a distribution or, go back, is that distribution or transmission?
Yeah, this is a distribution pole. And then I can't.
So Osmos has done some distribution work for us.
Well, they come out and they check the poles for us. They'll core the pole for us. And so this actually has primary on the top as well. So it'll have, it will feed the new distribution to the house, the secondary.
Aaron, if
the
I'm
3
not
houses that
mistaken,
are
Aaron, don't we have a 5-year rotation for all our poles, not just transmission?
Yeah, all our distribution poles have been done recently. I remember working through that before. David could probably speak to that, where we are exactly. But Osmos has treated the bottoms of all our poles. But
Yeah.
I think what Aaron's getting at is with the transmission loop, they also did some drone inspections. And there's actually an expensive capital project that we're considering related to that.
So this is not with the infrared stuff that they've done.
I just was interested to know that.
No, they come out and they test the poles for us. They core the poles, and basically this one was not safe anymore. So because of that, we're changing out the poles.
Do we look at every pole every 5 years?
So we don't want to do that. That's not financially responsible, because if they come out and they say you have 7,000 poles out there on your system that are bad, then you're responsible for changing out those 7,000 poles. So typically you want to do about 10% of your poles or whatever percentage you deem necessary for that rotation. And if we did a 5-year rotation, whatever percentage of that is. And again, since I'm new, I'm not exactly sure what the process is that we're going to. So,
Yeah, you can get back to us on that as far as what the exact rotation
that's
is,
great.
because I know we were very behind and we did more than 10%.
Yeah.
But I don't know where we landed as far as what
as an
percentage to do a
industry
year,
standard,
so.
typically you would want to do about 10% every year.
And I assume our staff, line workers, help identify apparent problem, older poles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'll talk about it here in a minute. So our guys will still test poles as well. We sent a couple of guys, I think a few years ago, to an Osmos class where they can kind of identify some trouble poles on our own. So even when we're out on the system, if we notice something and it sticks out to us, our guys are pretty good about getting that on the sheet to get changed out as well. So we're not in the business of trying to leave trouble poles out there, especially when those guys are going to be the ones that have to climb them eventually if that's necessary. So. This is another trouble pole that we had to change out here. It was an outage that we had to schedule as well. So it took both crews, and it was something that I was I was happy to see both crews work in sync and get everything done. I think we had everything back in power in about 2 hours, so it was pretty good there as well over on Dick Street. I wanted to add this one because it was a backyard machine job. So we actually got to get the backyard machine out of the shop and take it out into somebody's backyard. We wouldn't have been able to do this with a digger truck without tearing up their yard significantly. So the backyard machine definitely helped us out here in this job. I think in this spot in particular in town, you could probably do this in August and still not be able to get back there in a digger truck. It just holds so much water back there, groundwater and everything. So I think that the ability for our crew to be able to do this, it's really added us some the ability to get into some of these hard to reach places and definitely helped us out. We also have 4 guys that are headed to Alabama here next month as a part of the TVPPA rodeo. So our guys were out practicing, and naturally, when you see some of your teammates out practicing, some of the other guys who aren't going to the rodeo wanted to get out and practice as well. So I think I wanted to add this slide in here because our guys, even though we kind of take every opportunity, even though some shops around the state, and I've been able to travel the state the last 4 years with IMPA. Not everybody wants to get out and kind of hone their skills when they have some downtime. They kind of want to chill and want to relax. Our guys take their job pretty serious and want to hone their skills and sharpen what they can. And I tip my cap to them.
Go back.
Yeah,
Go back to
absolutely.
What's going on that?
So
on that right hand picture.
On the far right, we have this is what they call Hurt Man Rescue. So it's pull top rescue. So it's a simulated. You can see we have a dummy up there, and it simulates a guy that either had a medical emergency on the pole or he became unconscious. So our guys call up, and actually we did this today again. We did pull top rescue today, and everybody on our crew has been through pull top rescue and has been able to complete a pull top rescue within the last 2 weeks. So we have 2 guys that still need to go at where I can watch them because as a safety coordinator, I'm making sure everybody's a qualified climber that is on our crew. So in the event that you're out with an apprentice, that apprentice can get you down if you're a journeyman and vice versa. So this is something that we typically always do. And according to APPA standards, you should review this at least once a year. Our guys do that more often, obviously, because, again, you want to hone your skills and you hope you never have to use the pull top rescue method, but you want to be sure that you can do it if you have to. So this is the tree trimming slide. So this is pulled directly from our GIS. We have a tab on our GIS that has all of the trees that he's trimmed so far. Again, our tree contractor that we work with is My Tree Sons out of Muncie. And he puts on there when he has visited a spot, has trimmed a tree or taken it all the way down. He also will take before and after pictures. We're trying to be a little harsher with him about some after pictures because he's really good at taking before pictures, but not always great at taking the after pictures. Understandably, he's probably a little tired when he's done there, but when you log on to our GIS, we're actually able to click on those and it has the pictures along with what he's cut. So that way we can verify that he's actually been to that location and cut some things without actually having to go out there and monitor it on a day-to-day basis and kind of follow the guy around and hover over him. So this allows us some availability and some freedom to then go back and check and make sure that it's actually been done as well. So,
Sam, how do we assign priority for tree trimming?
Typically what we want to do and what Jeff and David and myself have come up with is I think it's best for us if we kind of line out the guy on a certain circuit and say, hey, you need to go down, and anything that's in our primary lines or anything that's in a definite like need on a secondary line, we want you to trim up. And then as needed, of course, we get public calls and, hey, I'm going to take this tree down. It's kind of close to your line. I'm not sure about this. Or even if sometimes the guys will come in and they'll take the line down for him if the guy really wants to cut it on his own. We will more than happy to let the customer cut their tree on their own, and we'll take their secondary line out if that's what is necessary for it. So it just all depends on the certain scenario. But I think for us going forward, what we would like to do is line out our tree contractor on a certain circuit in town. And I think to the point, our system is to a good point right now to where we can do the majority of the town probably in a year. So that way he's not like in certain instances in certain communities, you focus on like a quadrant of a town and then kind of follow around on the map. I think our system is in such good shape that we probably could just say, hey, we're going to attack this circuit for these 2 weeks. Then when he's done, move him to the next circuit and so on and so forth.
Yep. One thing I could add to that is I think what Sam's shown us here is 2026. He
Yes.
also has the ability on this to look at what we did in 2025 and 2024. And we did start out with quadrants when we were behind, but you can actually overlay this because trees grow, at a steady rate, and you can see what spots you maybe missed. But
Yes, no, Ed's exactly right. This is just 2026. So this is just what he's done to this point this year. It's over 55 trees that he's trimmed or taken down completely. So he's actually he's been pretty responsive about this. And sometimes with guys that have never really had to deal with an iPad or anything before, they can be a little reluctant. He loves this because it adds a calendar, shows that he's actually been to a spot. He loves being able to log this and kind of track what he's been doing throughout the year too. So, yeah. Some projects that we have coming up, and it's not going to fail, but I think a lot of these are going to come due about the same time. So our guys are going to be busy here the next few months. So starting at the top, the Witt Road project, we're going to be moving some poles along Witt Road because as they're going to widen that road out there, starting off of Lafayette Avenue and then moving out towards Hickory Meadows. So that is that's on the horizon there for us. We just at the point right now where we need to figure out what trees need to be trimmed or taken out, and we're working with the city on that as well. Angeli Gardens Phase 2 is something that is going to eventually come due and eventually happen. We are waiting for payment on that before we do anything, but we have the majority of the material already for that. Auburn Meadows Phase 4 is something that we are also anticipating, and that's going to be a huge job that's going to take quite a bit of time and probably both crews as well. So we are anticipating that will be here in the next month or two as well. Hickory Junction Phase 2, David talked about that a little bit coming up. We did receive payment for that. And then the Fieldhouse pole line relocation. So David touched on that just a little bit as well, but that is right on 39. We're going to have to move poles and change out a couple poles as well. So that is something that we are going to do. And then the Jackson Square development that is going in behind the Health Annex building on South Lebanon Street there by the Dollar General. So it's going in behind there. And that is something that our crews are, Jeff, David, and myself have been working with Phil at IMPA to get a plan for them as well. Paddock Place is another one that we are working as a leadership team to attack that later this year as well. It'll probably be here in a couple months. Like I said, a lot of this is going to come due about the same time. And then the Park 65 buildings 2 and 3, we had a TAC meeting on that one as well. Those are off of Ohms Drive and Cox Avenue out there. So if you've heard the Ohms Drive, the Caterpillar building out there, that's essentially the buildings 2 and 3 that will be going in out there. Any questions or on upcoming projects? Okay. The safety update. So we do have a few safety items that we have completed here this last month. So we purchased CPR, AED, and first aid equipment. We are going to move that in-house. I'll be doing all of the CPR, AED, and first aid training for all of our employees at Lebanon Utilities. I'm certified to teach that, so we're going to take that in-house. This allows us the ability to, if we get a new employee, we don't have to wait on the fire department to have enough people to have a class. So we can kind of add that into the onboarding process, and then we can kind of manage it a little bit better and make sure people aren't lapsing on their certifications for that. We are due for some new hard hats on the electric side, and I believe the water and wastewater crews are also getting that in compliance with what they have to do out at LEAP. So at the same time, we're all getting new hard hats, and then the electric crew has decided that we are going to get hard hats and safety vests, and we're just going to keep those on the same 4-year rotation that need to be done in accordance with whatever the hard hat policy is. So that's something that we're working on. We also are getting class 2 and class 3 safety vests because there's certain scenarios where you have to wear both. So we're making sure those are all FR rated for those guys as well. The pull top and bucket truck rescue for line personnel, like I mentioned, that is something that we're trying to do to make sure all of our personnel is qualified. It's something that we take pretty seriously. And like I said, it's something that we wanted to make sure with new leadership coming in on the electric side that everybody was up to date on all of that training as well. Digger Derrick safety training is what we had here in April. The line crew went through that, and we are a part of the IMPA safety program, so they performed that safety meeting for us. And then this month is bloodborne pathogen training.
What is that?
Bloodborne pathogen training? So it is. It basically goes everything that you need to know about any liquids. The number one thing, I was actually supposed to teach this course for IMPA. So I was going to go around the state and actually teach it. But in accordance with OSHA and APPA, you need to go through a bloodborne pathogen class every single year. So that is something that by requirements of OSHA, what to do in case there is someone who has a cut and is bleeding, what to do if there is a hazardous spill or something like that. Anything that can come in contact with the skin or an open wound or anything like that, what to do and the training that you need for that. The number one rule that I've heard in any bloodborne pathogen training is if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. So that is something that is the number one thing that we try to say for everybody, and to make sure you have the proper PPE on if you're going to give any first aid or anything like that. So again, that'll go hand in hand with our first aid training that we're going to be providing employees as well. So. And then we've also had 2 safety committee meetings in the last month. So the safety committee is the next slide that I have here. You have all your representatives. We have every department represented, and then we also added a representative from the main office here, and Amber Smith is our representative. She's also an HR. So if you ever have any need or anything, you can contact any of these people on the safety committee if you don't feel like contacting me. But I think I could probably help you out if you needed anything or had any questions. And obviously, Aaron's been to a safety committee meeting before, so if anybody would like to come to the next safety committee meeting, I'd be more than happy to send invitations to whoever would like to come. Future safety committee projects, we are working on confined space rescue training for all field personnel. That is something that I think we haven't done here in the past couple of years, and I think that's something that we are due for some training on. And obviously, we are going to make sure it happens in the next couple months. Like I said, we're going to work on getting our CPR, AED, and first aid recertifications, and then certifications for any new employees. We also are going to participate in a traffic flagging course. Our NATF, National Association of Traffic Flagging, it's a 4-year certification, and it works in accordance with OSHA laws and obviously state and federal law as well when it comes to roadways and working in the roadways as well. That's a 4-hour class, and it's a certification that we're going to put all of our people through. So that is something that we kind of try to keep up, and because we do have so many utilities on state roads and that go under I-65, and so I think that's something that's important as well. And then we are also working on updating our lockout tagout processes for substations. We don't really have a great process right now just because we're lacking in some equipment. So we're going to purchase some lockout tagout boxes and make sure those are all at every substation. So those are the main things that we're focusing on here for the upcoming few months. So
Yeah, I just had one thing to add. I thought that was an outstanding presentation. Really hit the ground running. I like that staff is here supporting you. It shows esprit de corps along with the rodeo. I would just like to suggest to the board that we have you come back once a quarter to, like I think wastewater project manager is doing the same thing. Just kind of give a general update and share some pictures.
yeah, no, I would love to do that, and I appreciate that. And I will I'll take any criticism Spencer has for me too off camera. So it'd be great.
Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
I have one thing to
See you
add.
in July. No.
I just have one thing to add. We created a third foreman position. We actually filled that role. So we have 2 active foremen and Jeff McNew, who hopefully one day will move up. So our new foreman is Evan Cully and Matt Myhill. They actually came for this presentation too. I know Sam said their names, but I just wanted to give both of them a shout out. They both did a really good job in their interview process, and we asked for input from all the guys, and they were pretty much the first pick from everyone. So Matt Myhill, Evan Cully.
We're ready for your guys' 15-minute acceptance speeches.
Hey, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, guys. All right. Our next 4 agenda items have to do with our capital improvement updates for both civil and the LEAP district for water and wastewater. Ryan, we'll let you start.
Yep, the first 2 are for the civil wastewater is the first one, the CIP update, and then the second one would be for the water CIP update. We've been doing these for quite a while now. Before there wasn't a whole lot. Now, as we continue to grow, we need to continue to update the capital improvement plan. This is basically a 5-year capital improvement plan of what we see budget-wise, project-wise, and needs in the system in the next 5 years. And this helps a great deal with planning, also budgeting, knowing what we have upcoming and making sure that we can afford it. But also one of the key things on this is our hazard rankings. We go through and we've got a list of 100 items that based on improvements that we've made or continue to need to make, items move up and down. Ideally, your first 5 or 6 items would just be natural disasters because that's stuff that you can't control. You can plan on and have an emergency protocol, but stuff that's out of your control. Anything that we can control, we like to continue to improve that and move that on the list. We do take that very serious. One year I made the mistake and kind of didn't take it very serious. When I saw a pandemic on there, the next year, COVID struck. So now there's no joking in these at all because any scenario you can think of might be something that we have to live through. So we add those to the hazard rankings. And we do this with the help of BF&S, not only coming in and working with us on the projects, but then we also meet with city officials, planning and zoning, city engineering and those departments to see if that 5-year plan, if there is an overlap with their 5-year capital improvement plan to make sure that, we don't want to go in and put a brand new water main in and next year they're going to expand the sidewalks and have the road dug up again, or vice versa, a brand new road go in and then the next year we plan on putting in a water main or a sewer line and have to dig it all back up. So we also coordinate with them on this. So my first request would be for the wastewater capital improvement plan civil, and that is a requested amount of not to exceed $15,000 or $15,500.
Ron, I wish to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
If I at one point in recent past that our utility would do some build it and they will come infrastructure because development was proceeding at a very slow pace. That's not the case today. And if I recall the wastewater CIP, the current one, we had what I call where the ratepayers would put in a sewer line in hopes that developers would come and take advantage of that sewer line. Going forward, I would like to have those projects removed, and that if a developer wants to develop an area, they can connect the infrastructure that they pay for to existing adjacent infrastructure. Did I express what I think is good public policy to where it's understandable?
It is, but I would only caveat that with what you don't want to do is limit that infrastructure to just that development. So if we have an area, and that's one reason why working with planning and zoning is critical. If we have an area that we know has been multiple entities have bought multiple acres, what you don't want to do is size a lift station just for that development. You want to oversize it so you can incorporate multiple developments in that area. And that's where the 5-year lookout and also working with the planning and zoning and engineers for the city come into play. So what you want to do is make sure it's sized accordingly. If a developer's coming in and they're putting in a new water main for their addition, and there's another addition next to that, what we sometimes will do is they will pay for the water main that's needed for their development, but then we will upsize that at our cost. And then that way we can piggyback off that water main for future development. So there is kind of a balance. You don't want to just have water mains going nowhere hoping somebody would connect.
That's a good comment. I'll be looking very carefully and talking with you if I have concerns. Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Other questions? Motion regarding the Civil District CIP.
I move to approve Butler, Freeman, and Cipher to update the 2026 wastewater system capital improvement plan for a city district for an amount not to exceed $15,500.
Second.
Motion second. Other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Water CIP.
Yep, same thing. Basically what I just explained, this is for civil district only. And, hazard rankings are a little different. You go from looking at lift stations to the entire water plants, and also all your distribution system that you have out there as we move forward. So this would incorporate the same hazard rankings and same planning and everything that goes with the wastewater CIP. They go hand in hand. We also, as a part of this, we will meet when we do the hazard ranking. That's full staff. So we bring the entire wastewater staff in and get their evaluations on those hazard rankings. It's not just by management or we want the guys in the field to give us the input on what they see some of their biggest hazards are. So if it's something we don't see every day, we can address that as part of the CIP.
Questions from the board?
How does that work today? I mean, how does it work, in what you're doing today? How does this integrate into what you're going to do for 2026?
It works real well. So what we do is it's a 5-year rolling plan.
Right.
So we go through and as we do projects, perfect examples, if we have a water main problem that we see, State Road 39 out by Parkey's and Big O Tire was a perfect example. It was in the top 10 of our problem list in the hazard rankings. Well, that's been replaced. So that will come off of the hazard ranking since it's all brand new, and we will move other projects up and then combat that with, we get a budgeted amount by that. When can we do that? Does it need to be done next year? Can it wait 2 or 3 years? And we figure all that in. So updating it every year keeps refreshing that as new projects come in and you replace old infrastructure, you can get rid of some of those hazards. And there's always more aging infrastructure, and you can put that in there.
In 5 years.
Yes, yeah, it's 5-year. It's rolling 5-year.
Other questions? Motion? Motion for water CIP.
I move to approve Butler, Fairman, and Seifert to update our 2026 Water Systems Improvement Plan for the Civil District for an amount not to exceed $13,700.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, let's move to LEAP CIPs.
These are the same, but just different. So this is an evaluation for the first time of the LEAP district. I realize right now everything's going to be brand new, but we do want to still have a hazard ranking list in there. Some of it could be simple as, do we have enough water main to create loops? Do we have enough water main to create redundancy? Is that something that we need to look at? We want to separate that out because the cost of this will come out of the LEAP bonds, not for the civil ratepayers. So that's why that's separated out. That's why it's a little bit less. But we want to establish something before we're 2 or 3 years into it and it's completely starting to build out. We don't want to have to go back and say, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that, while we have a landscape that would allow us to make those improvements. So we want to go ahead and get a baseline started on the CIPs.
I have a question. Right now there's a finite number of massive projects that have been rigorously engineered, and they're all going to be paid for by the SRF loans, so that doesn't have to be factored in. Do we really need this additional planning oversight with that robust engineering that's taking place?
Yeah, I believe we do. So there's also conversations about mixed use area. So
Say it again, please.
there's conversations in the LEAP district for a mixed use area, which will be smaller offices, some living spaces, and they're working that out. So what you don't want to have is, 24 to 30 inch water mains to serve an apartment complex. So there's items that need to be addressed in there, but also what you want to make sure of is you have your hazard rankings. Do we have the proper sized, we have a generator for the new regional lift station. Do we have a proper sized backup generator, trailer mounted backup generator if the current generator goes out? Stuff that we need to start looking at as a redundancy or a worst case scenario. Can we still serve that area? So this will be a part of that. And we have on the water side, this is the wastewater, but on the water side, you have a number of pressure relief valves that you're putting in on the water main because of the high pressure coming in, or air relief valves. And there's a maintenance program that you want to establish with that. So being able to put that all in one capital improvement plan, so the guys know, hey, these need to be exercised every year. These valves need to be exercised every 2 years. That will all be part of it. So you want to establish that before you exceed a 2 or 3 year. If it's supposed to be every other year, you're on your 3rd year, you haven't exercised those yet because you haven't talked about it. So this will establish part of that, also the O&M for all the new infrastructure that we have going in.
So this is a Sandra question. Sandra, in the current rates for LEAP, all this is included. I don't want to say all of this, but this is included as far as O&M and what operations and maintenance that we need, so that this would be part of the budget potentially from just normal billing through LEAP.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the one thing I'd add to that is when we were putting that budget together, we were making estimates based off of a system that did not yet exist. And as Ryan just very eloquently explained, we'll have the system built, and we can actually look at it and come up with better estimates for what maintenance and future capital replacement will be to support those financial estimates.
Aaron, was your question answered?
I believe so. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right. Other questions? Okay, motion for wastewater capital for LEAP.
I move to approve Butler, Fairman, Cipher to prepare a 2026 wastewater system capital improvement plan for LEAP District for an amount not to exceed $11,100.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? No ghosts tonight. Last CIP, Ryan, maybe not the last agenda item.
Yep, this one is basically, kind of what I explained on the water side earlier, but this will be LEAP specific. That also includes our new booster station and ground storage tanks. It will include our new above ground, our water tower, and then all the infrastructure that goes in with that. This is completely different than anything we have. We have a lot of items in vaults. And so, there's more to it than just putting water main in, which we have done traditionally. So in order to do that, we want to make sure that we capture everything, know what we have, make sure that it's maintenance at the right time, it's operated at the correct times, and exercised at the right times.
Questions regarding water? LEAP water? All right, motion.
Approve Butler, Fairman, Cipher to prepare a 2026 water system capital improvement plan for LEAP District for the amount not to exceed $11,100.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, let's see here. Next. Okay. You want to hire somebody?
You would like to create a position? Yes.
Okay.
So this is a request to create a construction inspector position for the Lebanon utilities. In the past, we were able to, send a guy from the water team out, someone from the collections team out, and they can do new construction inspection. They can check all that out. With everything that we have going on now, and with the multiple developments going on at the same time, it's not efficient to take one person out of each crew when you have a 3, 4, or 5 man crew, take them out of the mix for a 4 or 5 hour planned inspection. So what we want to do is create on the org chart, create a construction inspector internal, and that person would answer to kind of fall under Spencer Portish, the project manager. And they would take care of new construction. They would take care of if somebody has to redo their sewer lateral and we need to be out there to inspect the backfill, inspect it being connected to our sewer. That person would be trained in that area, be able to go out and complete that inspection. We would not need them for large projects or housing addition, complete inspections. We already budget that in with BF&S. So this would be for the civil districts, water connection, sewer connection, new homes, remodels, anything like that. They would also be a part of working with Butler, Fairman, Cipher to be able to do any inspections that they do, so we can keep start keeping some of that in-house. They, after discussing it with BF&S, they actually were more than happy to kind of have us do some of the smaller stuff because it's hard coordination-wise to pull one guy from one place to the other. We already have basically guys on both sides, water and sewer, doing the inspection. This person would be able to do water and sewer at the same time. So we're leaving all the other staff members out in the field and able to do the other jobs that they need to do.
I just want to, so it is civil district only.
It is. This would be for civil district only. We already have all the inspectors and everything is taken care of for any LEAP development, also wholesale water, also wastewater treatment plant expansion, all of that. There's already full-time inspectors on that, third party.
Still hire some construction inspection firms, or BFNS, we still use contracted construction inspectors in addition to this position?
Yes, yes. This is more, there's a lot of times, we have a on-call budget for BFNS on inspections that we need help with or we don't have the manpower for. This will help alleviate some of that work. But for the bigger stuff where you need a 2, 3, 4-man team, we'll leave that to the BFNS and the Westlers of the world who have those inspectors already in place. This will be for the
There's been, an instance where one of our hired construction inspector failed to deliver satisfactorily for us. Would our inspector have some oversight or coordinating or observing role over a hired construction inspector?
They would have all that. They would be coordinating with them and if they don't have scheduled inspections, they would be at job sites that are civil specific and be able to oversee that job site and then have the power to say, hey, this is not within our standards. It needs to be redone. They would have oversight over all that, work in coordination with any third-party inspector that we have. But ultimately, just as we do now, if we go out to a job site and something's not right, we can stop the whole thing and make sure that it is to our standards. And they would have that. They would have all the power to do that, yes.
Ryan, is it fair to say that we want them to be the primary inspector on a lot of smaller projects that aren't necessarily full-time jobs, but then also to be a pretty significant consultant to our major capital projects and potentially a decision maker based upon what you just said?
Yes, that would be how I would like to see the role evolve. Basically, I envision in the future, 5, 10 years from now, we'll have a small inspection team based on if growth continues to be projected the way it is. So this is kind of setting the groundwork for that. And yes, they would, we've already set it up to where some of our third-party inspectors, they will be shadowing. They'll be able to shadow those third-party inspectors, take advantage of their reports that they fill out. We can customize that to, but there's no point in reinventing the wheel. We can customize that to ours, and they will all be on a shared file. So our inspections and any third-party inspector that submits a report will all be on the same, so we can review all of those together, and they work in coordination. So we don't want a third-party inspector and our inspector to be on a small project at the same time. So that will all be coordinated together.
And is this something the personnel committee should be involved in as well?
Well, so yeah, I mean, I spoke to Sandra about it, and that's where the pay scale came from. She did a market analysis on that.
Okay.
So if we want to table it, if the personnel committee, we want to talk about it, that's.
What do you think?
No, I think we're good. So we are approving a new position essentially.
Right.
Okay.
And I apologize, I've not done.
And adding it to our employee advancement, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we structured it exactly the same as the other positions, where we took what we thought the market pay was, and then we did the 80%, 85. So we structured it just the way we had talked about in the past. So it'll get added to the advancement program, as well as the next position when Ryan gets to that one.
Will this be advertised internally and externally?
Yeah, we'll do both. We do internally for 10 days, then we'll do externally for 10 days, and then conduct interviews after that.
But both ways?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I should mention, it's been several months ago, but we did, Ryan and Sandra and we met with the personnel committee, just talked about expansion in water and wastewater staff, just in general terms, because we're looking at expansion and and this is part of that. We could definitely meet with the personnel committee at a future date and refresh on that, because Ryan has some good plans. So, thanks.
All right. New position creation. Do I hear motion?
Move to position of, wait a minute.
14.
I move to approve the position of the water wastewater construction inspector as well as to provide a pay scale.
Second.
Motion and a second for the creation of a new position. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next topic. You know,
This
we'll
one
hire
is-
somebody else.
Yes, this is for a summer help. It's been quite a few years since we've had, so I think probably before our last advancement plan had been accepted, before we had summer help. We do have a couple members that have reached out. We think that one would be a great addition. And when I say summer help, we have a lot of mowing that take a lot of hours out of the week that this person is qualified for. They worked at the grounds crew for the school corporation for a couple of years, and we would like to take advantage of that. Hydrants that need painted. There's a number of things that are on our to-do list or that take up time during the week that I would rather summer help do that than, a certified operator, take time out of the day to go mow for 3 or 4 hours when we can have summer help do that. So that is my request for this. Sandra also, and very quickly was able to turn this around because colleges are out, so it's technically their summer. And so she did a market analysis on this too. And so we requested that be at a rate of $16 an hour for that summer help.
Yeah, and mostly today, what we're looking for is really approval of the rate. Because what we'll do is we'll go out and check with all the other departments and see if they want summer help again this year. Again, we had gone away from it for a few years, but if there's interest, this would allow any department to do that, and we would have one rate set for all of those.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I like summer help. I think it's a way of interacting with the community. We just haven't had much interest, and I think it started to die around COVID because all work seemed to die around COVID. Everyone stayed home, right? So it's time to get this reinvigorated and get people involved.
I have an observation and a comment, and it may or may not be accurate. It seemed to me that in past years that the summer help came from family members of our current employees only. And I wonder if it's appropriate for our ratepayer families to also have the opportunity for their college students to apply. Would you comment on that?
Yeah, I guess my comment on that is, in the past, what we did is we offered it to employee kids only at first, meaning if we could fill up all the positions, we would allow them to do that if they had school age or college age, so high school or college. Once they got past college, they were no longer eligible for that. If we didn't fill enough spots, then we opened it up to the general public, and we've had several that are not family members.
Family members of current employees. Is that what?
Correct. At the time, it was always, we would reach out to all the employees.
So for this program, we would reach out to family members of our staff first.
So that's the way we did it in the past, Aaron. But like I said, we haven't had summer help for probably, I want to say, for several years, we have not had summer help. So in this particular situation, I do believe Ryan was approached by someone who would like to have summer help. But yes, I believe we should offer it out first to see if we have any eligible candidates. If we do, we would fill with those candidates, and then we would reach out.
Well, but legally, we still have to post these positions, and people can apply, so.
Obviously, I have some concerns about the family member of current employee first approach, because our ratepayers may also have the same qualified folks who have the same need for a summer job. So
So we can handle it either way. If the board's more comfortable that way, we'll open it up to everyone. We'll open it up to everyone at the same time.
I'm just curious what my other board members think. I don't pretend to have the only point of view.
I don't have any strong feeling either way. There are very large corporations who do this, and that summer help is basically time replacement for people on vacation to do specific tasks that probably aren't of a highly technical nature. Some companies say, yeah, it's a reward for our employees and et cetera. And other ones, it's whoever they can find to fill the job. I don't think there's a strong feeling either way to that. I think the point about we do have 10,000 ratepayers in this town that may want something for their children also. I think that's a relevant point. It doesn't make me feel strongly one way or the other, but it's a relevant point. Bill?
So you're thinking that we should open it up to everyone? Is that what the board's saying?
I think we should.
That's what we're discussing.
Yeah. What I'd like to see is, one, I'd like to approve the position. I think we want summer help, but I think what I'd like to see is, once we ask, how many do we want? Maybe we can have some discretion. If we need 4, then maybe we can have some discretion about how we choose to seek and target. If we only have 1, then I think we need to have a working session discussion just to say, here's policy-wise how we want to handle this moving forward, because I anticipate we're going to want summer help a lot in the future, so.
Okay, and that's how we normally handle it, is once we get this approved, I'll reach out to each department to see if they want summer help, how many they need, and then we can come back to you with better information.
Comfortable with that, Aaron? Bill?
Not really, but I mean, if that's what you want to do, I mean, we can go ahead and approve it for the way it's written for the time being. And then later on, we'll open it up to different departments.
We'll make sure we can close discussion.
Let me think a moment. Let's see, Mr. Council, if this passes 2-1, it passes, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
I'm ready to vote.
Okay, so for our summer help position, need a motion.
I move to approve the addition of summer help at the rate of $16 per hour.
Second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed?
No?
All right. Approval of claims, payrolls, and transfers. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve the claims payroll transfers dated May 6, 2026 in the amount of $7,442,787.28 for claims payroll and $70,790 for transfers.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the approval of our claims, payroll, and transfers dated today. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Any other business to come before the board? Anyone?
I have something.
Okay.
I want to clarify a statement that was recently reported in the Indianapolis Star from an interview I gave. I'm not sure what happened. I either misspoke, was misheard, or overstated. The wastewater discharge line from Lebanon directly into Eagle Creek Park was studied as the preferred potential discharge point, as shown in the documents prepared by Westler Preliminary Engineering Report. Around February of 2026, our engineering team adjusted and determined that other options should be reviewed and considered in more detail. The wastewater discharge line into the Eagle Creek watershed, or specifically into Eagle Creek Reservoir, is still being considered, as well as several others. A direct discharge point with any construction in Eagle Creek Park is not. So Hope that clears things up for everybody. And that's what I had.
I appreciate that comment because the way it was presented in the newspaper, it wasn't at all clear that at some point the effluent line was being actively studied to discharge into the Prairie Creek Reservoir. At some point, and it was identified as February that we opened up our analysis to other locations. And then on May 1st, we decided that the Eagle Creek Reservoir location was out. So I'm glad that we have that clarification. Going forward, I am sure that staff and this board will expect complete transparency regarding the matter of the discharge location, the final decision that's made. In other words, all the documents that are finalized concerning selection of the exact discharge location or locations will be readily available for the public to comment on ahead of time of our final decision. And I'm pleased that this clarification has been made, that this is an example of how if we sometimes don't communicate perfectly, it's not because we're not trying to be transparent. We are, and we will endeavor to be as transparent as possible. And what we are doing now, from a transparency standpoint, exceeds legal requirements significantly. And we're doing that because we're neighbors serving neighbors, and it's the right thing to do. So thank you, Ed.
Just one clarification, Aaron, early on, you said the Prairie Creek Reservoir, you meant at the Eagle Creek Reservoir.
I do appreciate that correction so very much.
I'm not sure where the Prairie Creek Reservoir is located these days, but
Thank you very much.
I probably need to add that one thing that didn't make it in the article is we have not chosen a discharge point yet. We're still doing the technical and regulatory evaluation, looking at different sites. And we listed 7 of those potential sites in the presentation the engineer record Bob Holden made, who's present here tonight. So we're still studying those and other locations, and it's still evolving, and we don't know. We're not late on producing the anti-degradation study. We're still studying it, and things are still happening. So I hope that helps.
all right. Any other business? All right, we want to reopen the floor for any public comment. If anyone would like to come to the podium, please just state your name and your address.
My name is Megan Anderson. I live in Pike Township. I am glad that there was a little bit of clarification. It sounds like, some of these options still do put all the discharge into Eagle Creek. Based on the options evaluated in the preliminary engineering report. I did want to, I know it's not a Q&A, but I think it would be great for there to be a public dialogue about the new proposed discharge plan before permitting applications go in. So I just wanted to encourage you all to consider that again, and also to, make sure that you are clear with the public that the entire volume of discharge may still be going to Eagle Creek Reservoir, because I do feel that, perhaps the press statement was unintentionally misleading. And so I just would encourage you all to consider that as you move forward. Thank you.
I have a comment. Would you please stay there? If it's appropriate for us to have a little dialogue here. If there is an outfall location chosen, say, in Eagle Creek up near Zionsville, that effluent would travel several miles before it got to the reservoir. My understanding is that during this several mile transfer, that the natural geography filters the effluent or the stream, and which includes the effluent as it goes towards the Eagle Creek Reservoir. So what you're saying is are you saying that you don't think any of the discharge going to the Eagle Creek Reservoir is proper?
So I am saying that whatever plan you all pursue should be looked at by people with specialty in hydrology and environmental science. That would be my suggestion based on the experts we've consulted. If the entire volume, even if it comes from upstream, goes into the reservoir, it could still bring tens of thousands of pounds of phosphorus, which is a major concern. Of course, it would help to have it further upstream in theory, but I think there's just an issue of low flow in Eagle Creek Reservoir, period, and it increases the likelihood of contaminants building up, and obviously phosphorus doesn't just magically go away. Unfortunately, it kind of gets buried and then blooms emerge over time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Hi, my name's Carol Cortman. I live in Peck Township. I have property in which Fishback Creek goes through. My major concern with the outfall is the contamination. We're basically on a nature preserve. The Central Indiana Land Trust is part of our property. And I was wondering, when you're studying these things, are you including any Department of Natural Resources, Fish and Wildlife people? I know years ago, my father, there was a bridge project and there were several species of amphibians and other creatures that were on an endangered list. And I think that's something we need to consider with wherever the outfall is, which I hope it's not Fishback Creek. But I just really am very concerned about our environment. I'm concerned about plants, animals, birds, as people have said before. If we don't start taking care of our natural world, I don't know what's going to be left for our kids and our grandkids. Not to mention once the thing's built with the light pollution and all that, but one step at a time, right? So anyway, I just was wondering, is there any consideration to having Department of Natural Resources people in or Fish and Wildlife people to do studies on how it's going to affect the flora and fauna?
What I'll say is that we all want to get as much data as we can. So the types of considerations that you're asking about are both part of the preliminary engineering report and will be part of the permitting process. To the level of detail of what that is, I'm not an expert. We'll have to ask the experts in the room after the meeting regarding those questions.
And then how will we find out that those things are included? When will that be known to the public?
Some of them are already
In the
included in the
final
preliminary engineering report, and they'll also be in any permit that we would get to be able to process that effluent.
It'll also be included in any document that comes to us for approval related to
Correct.
the outfall location, and those documents will be made public ahead of time.
But are you including the Department of Natural Resources and Fish and Wildlife people? Are you including them? Do they even?
They're typically included in the reports, but that's typically, and I'm not an expert, so that's not the final answer. But I know that preliminary engineering reports that I've reviewed includes information from the Department of Natural Resources, from IDEM, from historical building aspects, and so forth and so on.
Well, we'll look forward to reading that and go from there. Thank you all.
Thank you, Carol. Any other comments? If not, I'll have a motion to close.
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.